Welcome to our home. It's another Sunday afternoon, bright and sunny. It wasn't very bright and sunny yesterday. We had a huge microburst come through here and it like tore down our trees, but we were so glad to get rain because here in Utah it's been in a drought forever and ever, and so we were glad to get the rain, but it came at a little bit of a price yesterday, didn't it? So hello Cher, hello Tammy, hello Cheryl, Charleston, Susan, welcome from Charleston, Bobby from Jefferson,
Indiana,
Grand Rapids, Michigan, Arizona, Michelle, my home state, I love Arizona, Connecticut, Oklahoma, California, holy cow, what do we got? Alabama, Colorado.
Firestone, Colorado.
This reminds me of the song we had to learn in elementary school with all 50 states.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sing it now.
Please don't.
Don't worry. I am not going to break out in song in our 6th live event.
Oh, we're so excited you're here with us, though. We have so many fun things planned.
We do. We've got a lot that's going to be on the agenda today. We wanted to give like a special call out to a few members. We've had some people comment in our group. We've got a number of people that are over in like Rhode Island and up in the Northeast, and they're getting hit with or about to get hit with that hurricane, which is just crazy to see it going through there. So to all of our group members that are up in that region, stay safe. We hope you're well. Keep us posted and we'll be thinking about you, and hopefully that storm blows by and is gone quickly and everyone's safe. We also want to give a shout out to a lot of our group members that are in California. We've had a number of people who have been dealing with the fires, and they post on these things in our group. And so we just wanted to give a special shout out to you. We're thinking of you. We hope as well that your homes are safe and that you're well. And so many times our nice group members, they'll get on the post and they'll comment and they'll say, I am so sorry I can't attend your live event, but there's a hurricane coming. And obviously there's never a requirement to attend a live event. So stay safe. Keep us posted. We'll be thinking about you throughout the live today.
Oh, Jackie's hoping not to lose power. She's already got 2 inches of rain. Oh, stay safe.
Oh my gosh, stay safe. From upstate New York, Jill, stay safe. I think it's missing the upstate New York region. From Pittsburgh, Cheryl, all these wonderful people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, let's dive right in, because we are excited. It's an extract making party, and we've got a really full schedule today of a number of things that we want to talk about. Now, we're a growing group, as many of you know. We haven't even hit our 1-year anniversary yet. We're already at 35,000, almost like 35,400 members at the time of this show.
Oh, we love having all of you.
Holy mackerel. We love having every one of you in the
You're
group.
All sweet.
Yeah, everybody's sweet. The group has stayed so nice as we've grown, and so we're glad to have everyone. But for all the new people that are out there and that are watching and tuning in or will be watching this video for the first time, we always like to begin by making an extract.
Yeah, we want to show you how easy it is. We can do this in less than 5 minutes, and you're going to try this and think, why haven't I done this before?
Seriously. We can almost do this with our eyes closed now. We've made so many extracts.
Yeah.
But so we want to show, we're going to start with a very basic, but a little bit of a twist on a very basic extract. So we're going to start with that here, and then we're going to talk about rums. In our last show, we talked about vodkas. So we're going to talk about different types of rums and the right kind of rum to choose for your vanilla extract. As everyone says, it takes like a year to make this stuff. So you want to make sure that you do it right and that you do your research and that you don't waste a whole year and then you open up the bottle at the end and it's not what you wanted. And so we want to make sure that we get you started on the right foot. So we're going to talk rums today, and then the next one we'll probably talk bourbons. And then our main event, the main thing that we're doing today, is we made a bunch of extract using the Gingrich method, which is the Sous-Vide method. So if you go to vanillapura.com and you go up to our search and you search for the term Gingrich or Sous-Vide, you'll actually see the recipe that we're going to be going over later today. And we're going to show you how we made extracts in how many days? 4 days. We made extracts in 4 days using the sous-vide method. And so there's a lot of discussion. Does it work? Doesn't it work? This is our first time. And so we haven't tasted or tried the extracts yet. We're going to try them together, see how they turned out after 5 days or 4 days in the sous-vide. And then finally, like we do in every one of our parties, because it's a party, we are going to give away freebies. beans. We've got 15 people today that are going to be getting free beans. We've got our sweet bean winner. We've got our top 10 contributors over the last month that we always give free beans to. And the surprise, we've selected 4 people who entered our contest to give us taglines to put on our shipping envelopes. We've selected the 4 taglines, and we're going to be announcing the 4 winners. And all of them will be getting free beans as well. So a whole lot. Lots of free beans. It's going to be tons of fun. So let's go ahead and get started with our extract.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so Jill's going to be making the extract. I'm going to do a little talking while she's doing a little making of the extract. So we've got 2 of our favorite vanilla beans. So we've got our Ecuadorian bean. And for those of you who have tried Ecuadorian, it's like a plum apricot fruity vanilla bean. It's wonderful, and it's got a really bold fruit taste. And so if you're making Ecuadorian vanilla extract, it is great for like high fruit desserts like pies or tarts or things where fruit is the predominant flavor and you want to accentuate the fruit. An Ecuadorian bean does that. Then we've got my favorite, everyone's favorite, the Madagascar bean, right? This is the most traditional vanilla bean, straight from Madagascar. 70% of the world's vanilla came from there. This is your classic vanilla, buttery, sweet. It's kind of what you think of when you think of vanilla, you think of this. So we are going to make a blended extract today.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Right, and so what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of Ecuadorian and we're going to mix it with a little bit of Madagascar. So why do we do that? Because I don't want, for this particular extract, we're going into the holiday seasons and we're going to start making things like banana breads or crepes or cinnamon rolls or breakfast type items.
Well, it's getting cold. I'm starting to feel a chill, and I'm starting to want to, make some of these fun things now that it's getting a little colder.
Our minds are kind of going to the holiday season. And so sometimes you want a little bit of fruit, but not a ton. You don't want fruit to be the predominant, and then you want that classic buttery taste. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take part Ecuadorian, part Madagascar, put them together, and we're going to make an Ecuadorian Madagascar extract. And what's the spirit that you wanted to use this time?
Rum.
We are using a white rum, if I'm correct, or a silver rum, which is a sweet, basic rum, so we can go from there. So, here's how it works. For all of you new people that are tuned in and watching for the first time, and you're seeing in the group all the different posts, so you have Vanilla Bean Day, when the vanilla beans arrive at your front porch, and there's pictures that are posted, everybody's like, woohoo! Our beans arrive! So, your beans arrive, we've got an ounce of Ecuadorian and an ounce of Madagascar.
So I'm just going to go ahead and cut them open.
Now, everyone will tell you, she's cutting it open, save the bags, because when we take the beans out, we fill those bags with sugar. And then if you have a vacuum sealer, or you can just clamp them, you put the sugar in, and it'll absorb all that oil that's inside the bag.
You got to take a moment to savor the aroma, because it's lovely.
Yes, it is.
Try that one.
Our home smells like vanilla all the time, and this a Madagascar vanilla bean will always kind of be a favorite go-to. It's just nostalgic. Like that is sweet cooking every day for every holiday of the year, right? Now you've got Ecuadorian, and for those of you who haven't tried the Ecuadorian, they are bold and pronounced. Woo! And when you first smell them, you see why. Like the fruit is really, really strong. Plums, apricots, a hint of cherry, but it's a really, really strong taste. And so if you're going to go all fruit and you want to use an extract like we said for like a pie, you use the Ecuadorian and nothing else.
And I've got blackberries coming out of my ears right now. It's a wonderful crop this year. And peaches, I mean, we're making pies and crisps and
the blackberry crisp that we just barely had. And so for that we used an all fruit extract. I think we used the Tongan for that one. And so now let's go ahead and divide it up. So these are 1 ounce pouches.
And these are very different. Our Ecuadorian beans are quite shorter than our Madagascar.
Right, let's hold them up here so you can see. And this is why it's so important to weigh your beans when you get them. So here's a Madagascar and here's an Ecuadorian, and you can see the size difference. I'll try to kind of let the light from the window show, but you can see the size difference between the two. So as a quick count, we've got 8 or so beans for an ounce of Madagascar, and we've got probably 12 or 13 for an ounce of Ecuadorian. So a scale is always important, right?
And we always sell by the weight.
We always sell by the ounce, because if you sell by the bean, and this is while you're cutting those, this is something, it came up this week and there was a lot of chatter. There are a lot of websites out there that are telling you to count the number of beans. There's a lot of videos out there that tell you to put like 2 beans or 5 beans or 10 beans into a bottle of vodka and wait. And probably the number one comment we get from new people is that they've joined, their extracts have been extracting for like a year, but it's still very boozy and very alcohol-y, and it's not even that dark. And typically what we see is that they got their instructions from someone who said, put 5 beans in a bottle of vodka, and it's that general. If you go to our website and you look at the vanilla extract making instructions, we follow the FDA guidelines for our recommended at-home extract making, which is roughly, rounded up just a little bit, 1 ounce of beans for every 8 ounces of alcohol. So because the bean size is different, you gotta weigh your beans before you put them in. We sell them by the ounce, so it's simple. You just get it, it's 1 ounce. You can put that in 8 ounces of alcohol and you're good to go. Okay, so you are fast.
The thing about this is you get to choose if you want to cut your beans, if you want to tie them, or if you want to put them in whole. Although because my jars are so small, we won't be putting them in whole. I guess you could put them in like this if you want, or you can just tie them in a knot like that.
As you're doing that, Starlet taught us that.
Yeah.
Pam made the comment.
Put it in like that.
Yep, Pam made the comment, I think I need to keep a notebook of all these beans and their qualities. We have tried to summarize it on our website. If you go to the Vanilla Pure, the extract making section, there's a whole section that says how do different vanilla beans taste. Go there and you'll see all of the different varieties of vanilla beans and their taste differences, so you can see them all lined up next to each other. I think we've got like 10 vanilla beans in there right now that we're currently offering. So you're tying the knots.
I'm tying the knots. The reason why we're keeping some of them whole is so you can use the caviar later. A lot of people will use that for ice creams, and so you want to be able to save some of the caviar, then you'll just tie them up or keep them whole. I like the little specks in my extract, so when we cut them here, you're going to get all of the
little specks
into your extract. So I am just going to half these.
So this
is the Madagascar, and now I'm putting in the Ecuadorian.
So roughly half them, putting them all in, and then there's, if you watch a previous video, we talk about the benefits of cutting versus the benefits of leaving the beans whole. A cut extract, or a cut bean, typically goes a little faster. Yep.
And then you just add the rum.
Amy DeLongmain, we love you. Thank you, Amy. There's Amy posting links to the site.
Always helping us.
Amy is like our honorary helper. And we also want to give a special thanks to Starlet, who's moderating today. Starlet, we're so glad to have you here. And thanks for all the work that you do within our group and all the help that you provide our group members.
Yep.
And then to Maddie, as well as to Carla, our team, the people that you speak with on the phone. Thanks to everyone who's helping. It takes a lot of people to make these things work. So we've added the rum. These are 8-ounce ball jars, so we didn't need to measure it. We could just fill it to the top. We knew that we're getting 8 ounces of alcohol to the 1 ounce of beans, and that's it. And the reason that we're using these little jars today,
we are actually going to put these into our sous-vide so you can see how it works later.
Yes, we are actually, when we get to the sous-vide section, we're going to use these 2 extracts, and if we hold them up, so you can see the beans are in there, cut, some tied, and it's crystal clear. You can see right through it. So it's a silver rum, smelled great, half Madagascar, half Ecuadorian, and that's it. So if you don't use a sous vide method, which most don't, but many people are starting to and they're asking, you just put this now on your shelf in a cool, dry place.
Cool, dry place.
Wait a year, and August next year, you crack it open and you're ready for next year's holiday season, right as the season begins.
Wasn't that easy?
Easy. Super easy. Shirley, let's read some comments, answer any questions. Shirley says, this is amazing. It is amazing, Shirley. We couldn't agree more. New member and waiting for my beans to arrive. They're on their way. If you order through the co-op, they ship in about a month. And if you order retail, they get there a little faster. Amy's posting the Gingrich because we're going to get to what she's posting right there, the Gingrich method with the sous vide. Another member from Michigan, welcome. Lisa says, woot, I bought a sous vide for Christmas just for this purpose. And that puppy is still in the box. I look forward to your demo very much. Wonderful. Where do you buy beans? We'll let the group members respond to that one. Ordered my 2 ounce of Indonesian and can't wait. Well, we can't wait either. Make sure you post how they turn out.
Yeah.
And let everyone in the group follow along on your journey, right? We do this because it is just so fun to share the journey with everyone. So Speaking of sharing the journey, one of the things that we do in our group every week is we post every Friday our free beans for kind words.
Words, yeah.
And the way it works is people nominate other members to win free vanilla beans for kind things that they've done over the course of the week. So we typically make the post on Fridays, and then on Sundays we announce who the winner is. So whenever we have a live event, we always announce the winner in this event. So we want to announce, I think it's a good time to give away our first free vanilla beans of our show today by announcing the winner of free beans for kind words. We had over 100 and something comments, multiple nominations. This person who won this time was nominated by 3 different people, maybe more, I mean, as the post continued. But there were 3 people initially that nominated this person. So this person was nominated by Kimberly Brooks, Kathy Donaldson, and Kay Berg. So our winner, who was nominated by those 3 people, is Judy Robinson. Congratulations, Judy. We're so happy for you, and we're so glad to have you in our group. The reason that Judy was nominated is that she took time to respond to posts and even make some posts after she had been evacuated from her home in the California wildfires. So here this poor woman is. She had to leave her home, evacuated, worried about maybe losing her home, and she's logging in to our group to help other members and give comments and give feedbacks. Judy, you more than embody what vanilla bean sweetness is all about. So thank you, Judy, for that. And thank you, Kimberly and Kathy and Kay, for nominating Judy. She certainly is deserving.
And Judy, we hope your home is safe, and we hope that you are safe.
We do. We can't imagine what a scary thing that is, and we're thinking about you. If you're not here today, we understand why, but we certainly hope that you are well, and your home is well, and your friends and family and loved ones are also well. Okay, well, next, let's talk rum. We love rum. It is time to talk rums. So, as many of you know, when we're looking at vanilla extracts, we kind of put all of our alcohols into 3 categories. And those categories are expanding a little bit as, you know, we're getting feedback from other customers. But we go from bourbon, which is smoky, to rum, which is sweet, to vodka, which is just pure, is the word that we use.
Yeah.
So our last video, we spent a lot of time going over 5, 6, 7 different vodka brands, and we had a good discussion about vodka and what the best vodka would be. Now we're going to do it about rums. Okay? So rums. Let's talk rum. Why do we like rum so much for vanilla extract?
It's sweet.
And what makes it sweet? Where does rum come from? It comes from sugarcane derivatives, primarily molasses and sugar juice. It originated in the Caribbean, Pirates of the Caribbean, I mean, all of the, that's where rum came from. And so it's a derivative of sugar, so it's naturally very sweet. Now, there are 3 categories of rums that we will consider as you look at extract making. The first is your silver or your white rums. The second is your gold rum. And the third is your dark rum. Now, there's a million subcategories. I'm kind of overgeneralizing, but those are the 3 primary categories: silver, gold, and dark. And now let's talk about each one of them and what makes them silver, gold, and dark. So first off, a silver rum. Every single rum that you buy starts white. It starts clear. It looks just like this. This is kind of a funny rum that we're going to be reviewing here in a minute because we just love that we found this one. But they're all distilled. They're all mostly filtered. And if they're poured directly into the bottle after being distilled and filtered, then they are that clear color. They look like water.
Water, yep.
And so the primary smell of a silver rum, when you smell it, is just sweetness. You get a little bit of the boozy, but really it's just sweet. You smell the sugar, and that's essentially the scent of the rum, which makes rum great for extract making because it's sweet. So, go ahead.
And we usually add it to sweet things.
So let's talk about silver rums that we like to use. So I have this rum up here because we think it is funny. So everyone always says, do you have to buy top shelf alcohol to make your extracts? And the answer is absolutely not. You don't necessarily get a better extract if you're on the top shelf. Sometimes though, if you go to the bottom shelf with some alcohols, you can get yourself into trouble. We typically try to stay mid-shelf, and there's few exceptions. For those of you that maybe drink rum, you may already have a favorite rum that you love, and you should use that rum.
Yeah.
If you got one that's tried and true and you like it, use it, enjoy it, have fun with it. You know what to expect. It's going to be a great rum. For those of you that have never had rum before, and we have a lot of people that are just kind of learning about alcohol or what to use for extract making, hopefully this is a little bit helpful. So, typically, as it relates to white rums, our favorite white rum that we typically use is a Captain Morgan white rum.
Yeah, middle shelf.
It's a middle shelf rum. It's sweet. It's not, you don't want the story of the extract to be the alcohol. You want the story of the extract to be the vanilla beans. And so you don't want to get a rum that is so strong and overpowering that what you taste is the rum first. You want a rum that really marries well with the beans, and a Captain Morgan white is our favorite. So that's an example of like a mid-shelf. So then you go to the lower shelves, and on this one we're laughing because we went, just to experiment, to the very bottom shelf of our local liquor store, and this rum cracks me up, right? This is called, and maybe some of you have it and you like it, but this is Mr. Boston. So the name is Boston.
Yeah.
The rum is made in Kentucky, of course, because when you think of Kentucky, who doesn't think of pirates and rum, right? And it says it is made Caribbean style. So on the label, you've got Boston, you've got Kentucky, and you've got the Caribbean all on one label. And we thought, oh my heavens, is this going to be okay? Should we give it a try? But why not, right? Because sometimes you got to explore, and it was a bottom shelf rum. So then we opened it up and we smelled it, and we were surprised. It smelled actually okay. And then we made some extracts with it, and they're
fine.
Brewing right now, right? And so far they're fine as we're checking up on them. So we put this in the sous vide, and we'll be reviewing some of the sous vides that actually use this rum. But this one actually surprised us as a pretty nice white rum.
Yeah.
So white rum, in short, white directly from the distiller, the filter, into the bottle, clear, nothing's happened to it. So what makes then the next level of rum, gold rum, what makes it dark? Let's make sure we don't have any questions. I need to add Ecuadorian. You'll love the Ecuadorian. Hello from Michigan. First time watching, good to have you. Just making sure we don't have any questions there. So then when you get into a gold rum, what's the difference between a white and a gold rum? And the difference is this. A gold rum looks just like this at the beginning, but they pour the gold rum into a cask for somewhere between usually 3 years as a minimum, but you'll see like a 1 to 10 year range of a gold rum. And what happens when that clear rum is sitting in a wooden cask, and usually it's people here. It's resuming here. Our video. Hopefully everyone can still see us. We're going to keep going because it looks like we're okay. So a gold rum will sit in the cask, and then it takes on some of the color of the cask. And then what happens to that rum? So it's going to have the sweetness of a silver, but after this one here is a Bacardi Gold, after 8 years in a cask, what are some of the smells that you start picking up?
It's a tiny bit smoky.
So you're going to get a little bit of the smoky because it's likely being stored in a cask that was used originally for bourbon, but you're also going to start getting the oak from that American oak wood. And the oak will typically put off like a caramel, lemon, almost a honey scent. And so you're starting to get kind of a little bit of a spicy honey, caramel, lemon scent within that. Just a hint of it.
Just a little bit.
Yep. So we like the Bacardi Gold. This is a great one. This was aged for 8 years in a cask. And so you can see it as I hold it up to the light. Here's the silver, here's the gold. Just a little bit darker, right? Now you get to sort of the old aged rums that have sat in the cask for a long time. This is, and it's almost, we've used it in our last extract, and so we're almost out of this one. This is our Kirk and Sweeney 23-year rum. Now this is a top shelf rum. You don't need to go top shelf to make an extract, but this is one that we know many people in our group have made. It's one that we have made many extracts with, and every single time they turn out great. The only difference between the silver and the gold and the dark rum is that this has sat in a cask for 23 years. So it's going to be much darker. It evaporates over time as it's sitting in the cask. And as it evaporates, the sweetness becomes more condensed. And so you get an enhanced sweetness, plus you get the caramel, you get the vanilla, you get all of the honey, you get the lemon, you get all of those wonderful tastes at even a more accentuated level. And so we love the aged for that reason.
So Pat wants to know, did you know all of this about spirits before we started extracting?
Do you want to know the truth? No. I didn't. You talk about, everybody laughs and you talk about the rabbit hole. And you're always asking great questions, and we're really working hard at Vanilla Pure. The whole team is to make sure that we're giving you as many resources as we can. So as many of these questions come up, we just go down that rabbit hole and we study and we look and we try to figure it all out. But no, we did not know this much when we started 4 something years ago.
Not at all.
We have learned a lot. And then I hope we're being helpful, we've also learned a lot just by trial and error.
Yes.
We've used bad rums or bad alcohols.
We have.
And then you wait all that time and they turn out horrible, and it's like you just wasted a year. So the reason we're doing this is hopefully we're helping you maybe take some shortcuts and not have to make the same mistakes that we make. But no, we have learned all of this just in the last 4 years as we've been trying to be helpful to all of you and to provide you with as much information as we can. I love it. The final thing that I do want to talk about, all rum is gluten-free. And that's a question we get all the time. All rum is gluten-free. Where you may run into a problem is when you get into flavored rums, just like flavored vodkas and others. The flavor additives may not be gluten-free, so you've got to be careful. I'm not going to spend any time in this because we have a whole video segment dedicated to spiced rum vanilla extract. The only artificial flavor that we have tried and that we love is the spiced rum Captain Morgan vanilla extract. It's wonderful for holiday baking. If you don't have a spiced rum extract going, you ought to have one going for the holidays. Here's another flavored rum. This is the Blue Chair Bay. It's a coconut rum. We tried this. It was awful. I mean, in almost every instance where we've done artificial flavors, whether it's a vodka or whether it's a rum, it did not turn out that great, at least in our opinion.
Yes.
Right?
There was one, though. We do like the spiced rum. And with the Ugandan beans.
With the Ugandan specifically.
Yes.
Yep, the spiced rum with the Ugandan beans we love
for the holidays. Yeah.
But the coconut rum we haven't really had any luck with. So be looking for whether you get silver. Silver is a good rum to start with, mid-shelf. You don't have to spend a lot on it, and it won't encumber the taste of your vanilla. That's a great place to begin. If you like sort of that oaky, rich, and it becomes kind of naturally spiced, a taste of like a cask that has a little bit of that smoky from a bourbon cask, then go to like a gold. It's sort of one step. And then if you really want like an aged rich rum that is really complex with smoky, oaky, caramel, dark flavors, you go all the way to a dark rum or an old aged rum, and you'll have even more taste within your extracts. And that is how the rabbit hole begins. Are there some questions here?
Someone said they love the rabbit hole, and we're so glad you do. Hi, Rolene.
Oh,
Raylene says that she uses the white rum because she has allergies to trees.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, and so from the casks, you get that. Yeah, thanks for putting that out there.
That's
Roxanne.
a great point. If you have allergies to the trees, you can't have any of the alcohol that's being stored in a cask, so you would just use the silver and everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, wonderful point. Thank you. Is Bacardi an okay brand? Bacardi, that's this one here is a Bacardi. We have another Bacardi. Bacardi's a wonderful brand. You'll be just fine with a Bacardi, and you can usually get it at a pretty good price. You'll just have to decide whether you want like a white or whether you want a gold or a dark. All of them are good for their reasons. Captain Morgan's, a lot of people like the Captain Morgan. Everyone agrees. Captain Morgan is good stuff. Okay, so thank you. We just all went down a rabbit hole together.
Did.
How fun is that? Down the rabbit hole of rum. Who would have thought that we know that much now about rum? Let's see if there's any other questions. Thank you, Chris. Everybody's helping everyone. Thanks for all of you that are providing links and great questions, comments all around. So, have we tried Zaya rum? Oh my gosh, we have tried Zaya rum, and it is wonderful. We loved the Zaya rum. Don't have it here. That was one we tried maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it turned out fantastic. So it's an older rum. I think it's a darker rum. I want to say it was north of 10 years, but absolutely a wonderful rum, and it turned out great. We can't have all the rums that we've tried, so that's why we try to just put them in the 3 categories of the silver, the gold, the dark. You choose, you decide. There's a lot of great ones that are out there.
Share what you like. We love that you're sharing here.
So thank you, Tricia. The Zaya rum's wonderful. Okay, Mexican Madagascar. That would be a wonderful blend if that's what you're talking about, Lisa. And the reason is the Mexican's going to be really kind of that mocha, cocoa, kind of a dark vanilla.
A little bit of a spice.
Little bit of like a spice and a kick to it. So if you put a little Madagascar in, it kind of softens the boldest tones of every bean. I mean, frankly, we were talking about this just today when we were preparing for this. There's almost a reason to throw in like one Madagascar bean into every single bottle of extract that you do. Madagascar just kind of ties everything together. Just that classic vanilla. And so no matter what you're doing, if you're doing a Tongan, an Ecuadorian, a Tahiti, whatever it is, if you throw in even a Madagascar bean, you're just going to get a little bit of that buttery, sweet, classic vanilla that will tie all of the other flavors together.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Congrats, Judy. Yes. What specific bean did you mention to go with the dark rum? Oh, well, this is subjective, and a lot of people may have comments about it, but for a dark rum, I would love a Mexican bean. Madagascar is good for everything, but probably an Indonesian, a Sumatra. The dark, earthy tones of an Indonesian, coupled with sort of that smokiness that comes out of the cask for a dark rum that's been in a cask for many, many years. Whenever I sort of think dark and smoky, I kind of go to like a Sumatra or even the Papa Indonesian bean. Those for me are always some of the very best. The darker the alcohol, I typically tend to stay away from the fruitier beans. And so if it's a dark alcohol, I'll typically stick with like a Madagascar or a Mexican or an Indonesian. If it is a light alcohol, like a white rum or tequila, we're doing some trials with tequila, or a vodka, those are the ones where you can use the Tongan and you can use the Ecuadorian, you can use the Tahiti, that are more of the floral ones, right?
Yep.
Okay, any other questions?
Stacy wants to know if we leave our beans after extracted in the bottle until we run out.
Oh, and don't apologize for being a newbie. That actually is we love newbies. That's a great question. Do you want to answer that one? Do we leave them in the bottle?
We actually take them out. Once it's extracted, then I'll show you what I have over here. This is what I use every day. This is Indonesian.
This was an Indonesian one, I believe.
Yep, and it has just a pour spout that I use a ton. And I'll just, once it's extracted, I take the beans out. I can put them in my mother jar, or I can put them in another extract, and then add some new beans, and then put more spirit in it and let it sit again.
Yep, we have another show about this, but the reason that we'll take the beans out is as you start consuming the extract, the beans get exposed, and there's a concern. We've seen images where people's beans have molded when they're sitting up above the alcohol. We've never had that happen here in Utah.
But it's very dry here.
But it's very dry here, and so maybe in a more humid environment, the moisture's in there, they could mold. So we pull them out, put them in the mother jar, or we dry them and turn them into vanilla bean powder, or we can use them for vanilla bean paste, or we can use them.
So many things you can use them
The
for.
only thing that we never do with beans is throw them out.
Yes, we don't do that.
That is the only thing that we don't do. So that is a wonderful newbie question. That's a question that we asked ourselves just a few years ago. So thanks for asking. What is your mother jar? We don't have our mother jar here. We've got a video you can see on our YouTube channel. We've got a video of a mother jar, and you can actually see the picture. We've got 2 of them now that are going. They're a gallon each, and they've got a ton of different beans, all from even different spirits.
Yeah.
We filled the mother jar. I want to say the current one was with vodka, or was it white rum?
Vodka and rum.
We have
one is vodka, one is rum.
One is vodka, one is rum, but we put beans in it. Some of the beans that we're soaking in bourbon, we put them in, with the vodka jar, and so you get a little bit of that bourbon and a little bit of the rum. But the main alcohol in each is
just one
alcohol, vodka, rum, and then it's just a whole kind of who knows what's in there.
Of whatever you
a
create.
Modge podge of whatever you create.
And you can find more information about the mother jar on our website. Just look it up. And it'll take you
under the extract section. It's a what is a mother jar, and you'll see it. Oh, and of course, Amy, there is the link right there in the comments. So if you want to look at that, but look for what's a mother jar, and you'll see all the different applications of mother jars. And they're great, by the way, for gift giving, because you always have all this extract that tastes good. And so when it's Christmas time, you want to give away extract, you can put the extract from your mother jar into a cute little bottle, cut up like a brand new bean, and just put it in there for like the look, so there's a real bean in the bottle, and then your extract from your mother jar, and it works great for gift giving.
Wonderful.
So there's a million uses for a mother jar. So if you don't have a mother jar, get a mother jar. Okay. What do you do with the mother jar? We just spent a lot of time, Jean, talking about that. We do so much with a mother jar. Okay, let's move on to our main event, shall we? We're super excited about this.
The Sous-Vide.
You want me to talk about that while you're getting it ready?
While I'm getting ready, you can tell them what we found.
Okay, so the Sous-Vide method. Our group has been talking, let me even back up. The number one thing that everyone wants to know is, can we make this faster than a year?
Yes.
Because
number one question.
my patience is tried. I hate having to put the lid on the jar, and I hate having to wait for a whole year to get my extract.
Well, and if you think about it, how many things do we really wait an entire year before we get to enjoy it?
Exactly.
Not a lot of things.
Not a lot of things. So is there a way to sort of speed it along? And there's been a lot of commentary in our group about the sous vide. There's been commentary about the Instapot. We keep referring to Amy DeLongmain. She's got a group called Instapot 101 for beginners. There's like 700,000 members there.
Huge group.
So if you have questions, if we get Instapot questions, that group is a great resource if you haven't already joined. And,
She's
and
a great resource.
Amy's wonderful. But we wanted to try the sous vide. There's lots of debate as to what you should use, whether it's a sous vide, an Instapot. There's lots of concerns out there about heating a jar that has alcohol in it or putting a jar under pressure that has alcohol in it. We don't want to, we're not the pros on any of that. And so, but we are sort of experimenting with our group members. We decided that the sous vide would be a great place to begin, given the Paul Gingrich recommendation. We followed it, and we like the sous vide as a very first experiment for us. So,
but if you have an Instapot, go on over to Amy's group. You can learn some more things over there.
you can learn some more things over there. So there's a lot there that we don't know, but we did try the sous vide with some success, and we're going to share that here. So as it relates to the sous vide, so the first thing we had to do was buy a sous vide. We did not know where to go, so we got online as you know, call it newbies, right? We researched a bunch of sous vides. They can be really expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, hundreds of dollars, all the way, I mean, they're really, really expensive for like the big, nice sort of sous vides. And they're also really cheap. We found several. There was one for like $30, $40 on sale. This one was sort of a middle of the road, $100 sous vide. We gave it a try. We liked it. This is called the Anova. I'm sure you can find it online, but we had a really good first experience with this sous vide. It was right around $100. Mm-hmm. So for what we were going to try to do, that one made sense for us, right? So you unpack your sous vide, you get it out, and what do?
Well, this is what it looks like.
So the sous vide unit looks just like this. It's so simple. There's a plug, right? Easy. There's a digital face on the top, and up here you type in your time and you type in the temperature that you want to circulate the water. And for those of you that know about, sous vide, so what it does is it simply heats and circulates the water around your jars or whatever it is that you're putting inside the container that has the water in it. And so it's a nice digital screen. You put in your temperature, you put in your time. There's a clamp that's on the back. So the clamp rests right on the edge of your bottle or of your cooking pot. Sometimes these words, like pot, that's a tough one.
It is a pot. It's just a 3-letter word.
So sometimes, so you've got the clamp to hook it onto the side of your pot. And it's just that simple. You put it in. The thing that we noticed, though, and that's really important, maybe we'll get to that.
Even the way it works is all it does is it pulls in the water and heats it. So there's a bottom hole here, pulls through, and it heats the water, and then it comes out the top. And so there's just a circulation of water the whole time, and it'll actually tell you on the top what is your current temperature. So you know that oftentimes when I have to refill after it's evaporated, my temperature will go down. And so I know, let's keep an eye on that to see where my temperature is. So let's just go through it.
Let's go through it. So
okay,
we're going to go through it as if we're making the sous vide method extract with you for the first time. So I'm going to back up for this segment. At the beginning of our show today, we began with making these extracts right here. So as you'll recall, this is half Madagascar, half Ecuadorian in white rum. We just put these in 10, 15, 20 minutes ago.
Yep.
In these little jars. We use the small jars because they'll fit inside of our pot and they can be fully submerged. And we just close the lid on these. So these are the ones we're going to begin with. So
okay, so what you need is a big pot. And the jars have to be completely submerged, so that's why we have the little ones. I know like a water bath canning pot would probably be a good idea because it's much taller, so you could probably put quart-sized jars in there if you want to. This was just easy to get, and I wanted to try a lot of different little small samples. So I thought I'm going to do a lot of these 8 ounces and try some new things that I haven't tried before because it's going to be a quick try here. We're going to do it with the Sous-Vide.
So our logic in our case was small bottles, so we could get multiple samples and we could fit multiple jars inside the pot. And so
we just put them in. I could fit 6 of them in here.
So we had 6 different flavors, and in fact, we can put.
You could probably put
in
the
this
new
particular
ones in.
pot, there was enough for 8. So one of the decisions you'll want to make is, are you making just one flavor? If so, maybe you want a bigger jar and you'll need a deeper pot.
Yeah.
Or are you making multiple flavors? And if so, you can have multiple little jars and maybe a more shallow pot that's a little bit wider.
Which is what I did.
Which is what we did to be able to make multiple samples.
Yep. And so the next step is just to fill. I fill it right up to the rim. Just all the way. As much as I can get in here, I fill it all the way to the top, because that will be the less I have to keep filling.
And we completely submerge all the jars. This was a question. Do we fill it?
Completely submerged.
So if you go just to the top, do you leave the lids out? That was a question.
Completely submerged.
Completely submerged. So we want all of it underwater so the heat is applied equally to the whole jar.
To the whole jar, yep. So the temperature that we're going to set this is 135, and we're getting this off of Paul Gingrich's recipe that he shares on our website. So I'm going to put 135 for my target temperature, and then 96 hours is how long it goes. So we just started it, filled it all the way to the top, and I thought, wow, this is kind of easy, and there's just a slight hum to it.
Yeah.
It's not annoying, it's not loud, but there's just this like real quiet hum.
I came home from work and I didn't know that she had started it, and I walked in and I'm like, I thought my ears were ringing. I didn't even say anything for like the first couple hours because there was like this little hum in the background, and that's just the sous vide doing its job.
Yep.
It became kind of comforting. In fact, the hum went away once. And we learned a lesson, right? We were actually glad we had the hum, because all of a sudden the hum was absent and we had to figure out what happened. And so do you want to talk about that?
Well, when we woke up one morning, we didn't hear it, and then we checked on it, and my temperature was 88 degrees, and it was because my water went below my minimum level. And so overnight it had evaporated. And so you'll want to make sure that you fill it all the way to the top before you go to bed.
Yes, because it will evaporate.
It does evaporate.
And there's a line here, it says max and it says min. And so one of the tricks when you use your pot, this pot is a little bit shallow and it's about an inch below the max level. And so you're going to want to find a pot that is high enough to at least be at the max level of the sous vide, and that'll just give you that much more wiggle room. So if it evaporates, you can keep an eye on it, refill it as the water's evaporating.
Yep.
Because as soon as it gets below that min, it doesn't want to burn the engine, and it just shuts down, and that's what happened to us.
It just shuts off, and then you have to start over. So we actually probably did it a little bit longer than 96 hours because our temperature dropped. And I don't know how long overnight.
It was about 24 hours into it, a little more, that it shut off, and it was down for maybe a few hours.
Yeah.
So it was still warm in the morning, but it was definitely cooler, and so that was a problem.
But we just added a little more time.
We just added more water and added more time.
Yep.
Right? And that's what we did. Now, there was a question here, did your seals hold up under the heat?
Completely. No problems. Now, we want to make sure that you really tighten them tight. Paul actually suggests that you turn them over after you do that and let them sit for a while, just to make sure that there's a seal and there's no leakage. I didn't do that. I just made sure they were tight, and I didn't have any problems. They were wonderful.
So that was Paul Gingrich, the guy who wrote the recipe that recommended that. Not me, though. I would love to take credit for that.
I've never met a Paul I didn't like.
Exactly. And so like the extracts that we just barely made, so we've just sealed them. And so if we were following Paul's recommendation, we'd put them upside down on a paper towel, and we would just make sure that we're not getting any leaking before we put it inside the sous vide, right? Which is a great tip by Paul. Thanks for sharing that. Great question. You can actually get a plastic container specifically made for the sous vide technology, which is much bigger and wider than a pot.
Yep.
It also comes with a lid that has slots for the sous vide unit. Wonderful. Thank you.
You can do that.
Thank you very much for that comment. Would extra time in the sous vide ever damage the extract? That is a question that was asked on our blog that we would love Paul's feedback on that. We only went for the 96, well, plus a few more hours. I think the common thinking is that if it's mostly ready in 96 hours, would it be fully ready if I just did the sous vide for like 150 or 200 hours? Paul recommends that after you're done at 96 hours, that you still put the extract on the shelf for another 3 months, correct?
Well, especially the bourbon.
Yes.
That's what he means. Like the vodka, can be ready a lot sooner, but the bourbon takes a little bit longer. And you know, bourbon takes longer when we just do it the normal way without the sous vide. It can take up to 18 months, sometimes 2 years, because just, you know, bourbon can be such a strong spirit.
Yep. And so we don't know the answer to that question. We'd encourage you to give it a try, and please post and share, and we'll update the blog as we get more information from you guys. Yep. So we put the extracts in, you add the water, you cover them up, you plug it in, put in the temperature, put in the time, and then you wait. And it's funny how when you're in the extract making world, we're like, this thing goes for 96 hours. We're like, that's no time at all, because it's not a year. Everything's relative.
And it was so fun taking it out. I mean, look how dark these are. Do you want to, I don't know,
yes,
maybe go up a little bit closer, but this is the one that we did last show.
See how dark? Now this is the Gingrich, so this is the one with Maker's Mark bourbon, and look at how dark and rich that is. Let me hold one up that has a vodka.
Okay, here's our Svedka Vodka.
This is the Svedka Vodka. Was this with Madagascar?
Yes.
So this is a vodka, and look at how dark that is. After 96 hours, well, in our case, 100 plus hours in the sous vide. Absolutely wonderful.
And we did use 1 ounce of beans to 8 ounces of spirits.
Yep, in every one of these, 1 ounce of beans. So there's no double fold in any of this. This was all single fold, 1 ounce to 8 ounce. Lots of different alcohols, lots of different beans.
Yep.
Right? So, should we hold it up? In fact, let's do a quick comparison. Well, this is interesting.
This is from our last show that we did. And look how much it has already changed colors. It's still amber.
Hold it up to the light there so you can see.
You can see that it is already well on its way, and that was what, 5 weeks ago about?
And that was a vodka, right?
Yep.
And so again, when you compare this with whole beans to a sous vide, and you can see the difference there. It's amazing. There's just no question the sous vide expedites the process, and you get extraction happening at a faster rate.
So when we first learned about Paul Gingrich's sous vide method, we tried out all these different kinds from so many of our group members. But at the time, we did not have a sous vide. So all we did is we just put the beans in, we put the Maker's Mark, and we did it the old-fashioned way. So we thought it would be fun to try. Let's see, when did we start this? The 31st of January.
So about 6 months old. And these were whole beans?
These,
nope, these were cut.
cut.
These were cut.
And it's with Maker's Mark bourbon and Madagascar beans. So we also have the same thing here that we just did in the sous vide, and then we have the one that we did the old-fashioned way from January. And we're going to taste test it and just kind of see the difference.
Yep. Now, Debbie asked a great question. Debbie, could you use the sous vide method starting later in the cycle, like several months old? That's a great question.
I don't see why not.
I think we even try that. I think what we'll do is we'll grab one of our extracts that is maybe a few months old. We'll put it in, and we'll review that maybe in our next show and see how that turns out. So, again, we have the old-fashioned way of just doing what Paul Gingrich had recommended with Madagascar beans and Maker's Mark. This is about a 6.5-month-old extract. We haven't opened it or tasted it.
No, we haven't.
And so if for those of you that have been part of our group for a long time, you will remember that cold winter day, January 31st, when we put these beans in this bottle and we talked about the Gingrich. And so let's smell it. It's still, though there is a lot of vanilla, after 6 months in a Maker's Mark bourbon,
it's quite bourbony.
There's a lot of bourbon still in this 6-month-old extract, right?
Now, if you smell this one.
Now, this is the Gingrich here?
Smell the difference.
Okay, so
there is a difference.
This is the Gingrich. This one's only 5 days old using the sous vide. Oh my gosh. Well, there's kind of, it's like a dark, kind of a smoky smell. I don't get the booze as much, but it's definitely still there, but more of a smoky smell.
Yeah.
But you're already getting a vanilla that's coming through, and I think that the vanilla is more pronounced than the booze, but you're still definitely, there's a little bit of booze in that, which is interesting.
So we're going to taste test it. So we are, let's see, do you want to just pour just a titch of that into this one?
So you'll remember our taste testing method?
It's just a tablespoon of whole milk. And then a couple drops of your vanilla. And I'm just going to eyeball this. And so we called this the Shannon Adams taste test method. There's
within our website, in the extract making section, there's a whole section that says, how do I know that my extract is finished? You taste test it. You can do it with whipped cream. You can do it with milk. We're doing it with milk here. So we're going to stir it all up. So we got a lot of the oils from those beans in the first one.
Look at that.
So the fat within the milk kind of helps to spread out the flavor compounds of the vanilla. And then you let it sit for about 30 seconds after you stir it around. And then we'll take a little taste and we'll see how the Sous-Vide Gingrich compares with the non-Sous-Vide Gingrich. And we'll see how it tastes. So to Paul Gingrich and to his Sous-Vide method, let's taste this for the first time. And let's see if we get more. Really what I'm looking for is more vanilla than bourbon.
Yes.
Okay. So it's definitely sweet. There's definitely vanilla, but I don't know that it's fully done yet, which is why Paul probably recommends that you let it sit for about 90 days afterwards. So it's definitely sweet. The vanilla definitely comes through more than, like if we were to take this one 5 days from now and pour it in, all I would taste was white rum.
Yeah.
And so I'm definitely getting more vanilla, but I don't know that it's entirely finished yet.
No.
We would say no. So this is, you're watching us respond live here. This is our first taste.
Yep.
So it's good, it's close, but it's not entirely finished yet, which is really interesting, right?
So this is the original one that we did the old-fashioned way that was started in January.
So I'm expecting to taste a lot of booze in this one, maybe even more than the other. Is that mostly bourbon?
Bourbon, but I do taste the vanilla in it. It's on its way.
Yeah.
It's still a little burnt. It burns a little bit.
It's still the bourbon
got a
is
ways.
still there. So there you go. So does the sous vide work? Right? Is the question. So my initial response, and you can disagree, is there's no question that there's more vanilla in the sous vide method after 5 days than there is in just the regular sit and wait method after 6 months. There's no question that the sous vide one is more vanilla than the 6 months of sitting and waiting on the shelf. Are either of them done? They're not done.
Not right away.
Not right away. So we're going to follow Paul's instructions on that he put together, that they need to sit in the pantry for about 3 more months, especially with bourbon.
Maybe 2. Try 60 days.
Yep. And we'll just continue doing these comparisons. So we're going to continue comparing the one we made in January to the sous vide, and we'll do like an update next month so we can see where it's at. And if we can figure out that with the sous vide that clearly is expediting the extraction process, if we can get extract in 3 months instead of in 1 year, or with bourbon 18 months, then it's a great method. Yeah. So more to come. Our conclusion would be definitely helped expedite the extraction process, definitely tastes better than this one at this point. Yeah. Definitely less booze and more vanilla, still more booze and less vanilla. We are really excited to see how they turn out.
I want to try the vodka.
Let's do it.
Should we try that?
Let's try it. And then we have a vodka one here that we put together as well, right? So let's see. And the reason we want to try the vodka is it's been a really long week.
No.
And we figured no. So the reason we want to try the vodka is the bourbon is such a strong alcohol. If we try the vodka, it's a softer alcohol. Let's see if with the sous vide in a vodka, we got a better result.
Okay, which one do we want to try?
Let's see here. You know what I think? That's our Mocha Coca. Where's Carol's? Carol's was a
Fortune Kettle. It was Kettle One vodka.
It was the Kettle One vodka. And I don't see it.
Is it the top one there?
There it is, the maker's mark. Oh, here it is. We're going to use Carol's. Carol's like our good luck charm.
She's the sweetie.
She's the sweetest lady. We love Carol. Carol named this extract after her mom. And so we love it. It's called Willa's Fortune. We made this one the same time we made the Maker's Mark with Paul Gingrich. And so this one, again, is a little more than 6 months old. It's vodka in Madagascar. We're going to test it against a vodka Madagascar sous vide. Okay. So here we go. Do you want me to just pour? Let me put a little on the spoon. That's the easiest way to do it.
Ooh.
Whoop.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see if the sous vide with vodka works a little better than the sous vide with bourbon. This is so interesting. I wish this could actually be a real party and you were all in our kitchen and we could be trying this together. This would be so much fun. Okay. So I have the Willa's Fortune.
You have Willa's and I have sous vide.
You have the sous vide. So you go ahead, taste the sous vide.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good. I don't know, maybe another month?
That's pretty good. So Willa's Fortune, definitely less alcohol than the Maker's Mark with the Madagascar. So vodka is proving to be why vodka is such a favorite for extract making. It's just not as potent of a spirit as bourbon.
That's not bad
but
either.
It's really not bad. Let me see if it's different.
Wow, that's surprising. This one's the Sous-Vide is further along.
It's further along. There's no question. So the Sous-Vide is further along than the vodka, than the Willa's Fortune that's 6 months without the Sous-Vide. So it's further along, but it also has kind of a smoky smell to it. And maybe it's the Kettle One vodka versus, or did we use Kettle One in the Sous-Vide as well?
Uh-huh.
Or it wasn't, or was it the Svedka? It was Kettle One?
No, yep.
Oh, it was. It was the Kettle One. Okay.
Kettle One.
Kettle One. Perfect. So it's a Kettle One versus a Kettle One. So the Willa's Fortune that we made in January, definitely not there yet. Still getting, in fact, kind of burns a little bit.
Yeah,
whereas,
I don't know. I think you could try it another 30 days.
Yeah.
It definitely be better longer, but
yeah,
you may be able to try it.
So we're going to let those sit, and we're going to come back to them. We'll try them again, and let's see if we as a group here have found a way to get our extracts in less time than a year. There's no question the Sous-Vide is helping it go faster, but after our 96 hours or 100 hours with it turning off, we're not there yet. We need to let it sit and sort of do its thing naturally for another period of time. So we'll at least let it go for another month, and then we'll try it then.
Yeah. Now, somebody asked why we picked the 135 degrees temperature for the sous vide. And I think it's we just want to stay well below a higher temperature for just because of the alcohol.
Well, and that was the recommendation that Paul had. Yep. And so all we're doing is following Paul's.
And if you read it, Paul, he says that he has done a lot of research and talked to a lot of people who have used the sous vide method, and that's the temperature that they feel safe and have gone with.
Yep. And so we're just, that's the temperature that we used, and that's what we're trying. So great questions. We'll be able to back, yes. Think we can use the sous vide method, then put smaller bottles with beans and let it finish? Yes, I think that you can. I think you can just have a lot of fun. What we hope that we're showing you here is that we hope that your kitchen kind of turns into a vanilla extract making lab and just have fun. Try lots of different things and see what kind of response you get, and then post it. And the whole point of having a group like we have is to share best practices and to learn how to do things better than we're currently doing. And so this was, we are 1 week into our sous vide, right, or 5 days, and we're sharing with you everything that we've learned in the last week. And it has been, and from Paul. Paul was so good. Oh, Paul, 135 is a safe temp, recommended from my research. Paul is here.
He's here.
Hi, Paul. That's the first comment we've seen. We knew that you were potentially away and you had some busy things today, and so we're glad to see you here, Paul. Welcome.
We are.
We hope that we have represented you well in our efforts to kind of duplicate your formula that we posted on our blog for the Gingrich method. So good to see you, Paul, and thanks for chiming in with that answer. We love Paul. Paul's one of our longtime members. Yep. Okay. So is that it? Did we answer all the questions? We did. The water, totally covering the bottle. I think we asked everything that came up on the blog. Okay, so if there are any additional questions, feel free to let us know, comment on the blog, and we'll try to answer those questions as well, or make posts and put questions in the group, and we'll do our best to answer all of them. So, Winners! So we only have a couple minutes left. We got to go really quick. We've announced free beans for kind words. Let's talk now about our shipping labels. So you guys have all seen these shipping labels currently. We've got our logo. When your envelope arrives, this is what it looks like. One of them says, "Sweet beans for you, sweet thing." One of them says, "Put me in a bottle of you decide." Another one says, "Smile, your beans arrived." And another one says, "Kindness begins with me." Right? And we hope that as you get these in the mail, you're just smiling. We just want everybody to smile. We hope it's kind of a fun thing for you. Whenever you get them, whatever time of year, beans in your box are just a happy thing, right?
It's a happy day. Bean day is a good day.
Bean day is a good day. So we hope that it makes you smile. Let's go ahead and announce our winner. Oh, go ahead.
These responses were so hard to pick. It was so hard to pick winners because they were so fun and so creative. Like, you guys are awesome. We had so much fun reading it. It was just really hard to only pick 4.
And in 1 or 2 cases, people made the same recommendations that we chose. So the way that we decided who the winner winner was, the first person on that post that made the recommendation is the one that gets the free beans. And so if someone else made the same recommendation later on in the post, we're sorry. It was a brilliant idea. We love it. But we gave it to the person that made the very first comment if there were any duplicates. So our very first winner of free beans is Paulette Kim. And her saying that's going to go on her shipping envelope is...
Sweet things are made from beans.
Sweet things are made from beans. Maybe it's because we're in the 80s. I don't know. But that one just really excited us. We're like, that's got to make it. So Paulette, Sweet things are made from beans is going to be on our next round of shipping envelopes.
Yep.
The number 2 that we chose comes from, we just had to do this because she coined the phrase, and so many of you have used it, Starlet. We love you.
It's been around for a long time.
I think
We've heard people saying it for a really long time.
I think Starlet said this for the first time in like September or October last year.
I'm not sure, but I know it's been around a very long time, and thank you for reminding us.
This is what it is. No one even knows yet. Shall we tell them? It is...
Vanilla is our yum.
Vanilla is our yum.
Yep.
We love that. So Starlet, we love it. Free beans coming your way. Thank you for that. Our next one from Teresa Quattramini. We love this one. It is...
Where have you been all my life?
Where have you been all my life? We love that. We know that some of you are waiting like a month for your order to arrive. If it's the co-op, it takes a while to ship sometimes. And when they're finally there, it's where have you been all my life? They're there. So we love that. So that'll be on our envelopes. And then last but not least, from Marie Shannon. We loved this one. It made us laugh.
Yes, it did. We giggled.
We LOL'd when we read this one. We're like, well, that's what we want everyone doing when they get it. This one is, do you want to read it?
Yes, I do. Give me vodka and tell me I'm pretty.
Give me vodka and tell me I'm pretty. So when you guys get your vanilla beans, you give them vodka and you tell them that they're pretty. So Marie, thank you so much for making that recommendation. That is so fun. So those are our 4 winners. You'll see those in the not too distant future popping up on all your shipments in your mailbox. When you make these changes, it kind of takes a while to go through all the previous ones, but they'll make their way in, and you'll start seeing them here pretty soon. Okay? And then finally, we want to end congratulating and thanking our biggest contributors over the last 10 days. This is something that is put together by Facebook, not by us, based on all of the comments you make, based on all the interaction that you receive on your posts and your comments, and based on how much you're commenting and helping everyone else.
And you're always there helping. You're just always there to answer questions, so we appreciate our top contributors.
So
thank you.
In every live, we always give our top 10 contributors a free ounce of vanilla beans. So here we go. Starting with number 10, Kelly Blanket Lawhead. Kelly! Congratulations
Kelly.
Again. Carrie Seibert, number 9. Carrie, more beans coming your way. Michelle
Pujetta.
Michelle. We've spoken many times with Michelle. Your 7th position, or 7th, more beans coming your way. Connie Robinson Alexander. Connie, welcome to the club.
Yeah,
free beans coming your way. So glad to have you, Connie. Roxanne Young, thank you. We just love you, and our members love you. Thanks for all your posts. Free beans coming your way. Donna Feliciano Morenci.
She's new.
She's new as well. And talk about all the way up at number 5. So Donna, welcome. We're so glad to have you. Free beans coming your way. Kathy Donaldson, we see Kathy a lot. Kathy, we just love having you in our group. Thank you for your contribution, for all your help. You're wonderful. Debbie Perry Thomas. Every time we see your picture, we just smile. You're just sweet and kind, and we're so glad to have you in our group. Lori Lanford. Lori, we love Lori.
Lori's a sweetie.
She is. And all of your contribution, Lori, and your help, congratulations. Free beans coming your way. And finally, our number 1 contributor, Krista Howard. Again, Krista, congratulations. We just wouldn't have a great group without our top 10. We know every time we do this, there's a lot of familiar names that we see almost every show, and they get more free beans, but it's always fun as well. There's new people that are coming in and contributing, so we just love having all of you as part of our group, as part of our family.
We do. It's a wonderful place to go and just learn from each other, and it's just nice and kind, and a nice place to go and not have to worry about the negativity out there.
That's it. That's the hope. You're the kindest people on Facebook, and we hope that we're a place where you can come and smile a little bit when the news is heavy, when the world is heavy, when things are rough, and we get these comments all the time. Come on into our group, talk about extract making. It'll make you smile. You can't make extract without having a smile on your face. And so we are excited to continue making extract with all of you for years and years and years to come. Thank you so much for being part of our family and for joining us today on our live. We'll announce pretty shortly our next live event, and we hope to see every single one of you there. In the meantime, happy extracting. Have a wonderful end to your summer. Next time we see them, it'll probably be fall.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.